Welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping right into a super brief but absolutely game-changing source text today. It's all about totally reshaping how we study. The core idea? Achieving true academic mastery through instant doubt resolution. Let's look at how this new vehicle for learning actually works.
But hey, before we get to that ultimate goal of mastery, we've got to talk about the reality of the problem, right? What happens when your studying just hits a brick wall? I mean, picture it. It's late at night. You're totally dialed in, grinding through some really dense material, and then bam, you hit a concept that makes literally zero sense. You reread the paragraph, nothing. Check the index, totally unhelpful. And just like that, all your momentum, gone. You are stuck. It's so frustrating, and honestly, it's such a universal student experience. Your brain hits the brakes, the cognitive friction gets totally exhausting, and your learning momentum completely halts. A lot of times you end up closing the book feeling totally defeated, all because you couldn't get just one simple question answered.
Okay, let's dive into this, because that totally relatable frustration is exactly where our source material introduces a massive paradigm shift. They call it the AI academic shift. The text basically proposes moving completely away from that slow, agonizing, pulling your hair out process of getting unstuck and leaning into a modern solution, specifically using AI tools like ChatGPT as a student. Now, really quick, I want to be super clear here. This is not about having AI do the work for you. No way. It's about fundamentally changing the speed and the mechanism you use to overcome those inevitable learning hurdles.
And that really centers around a powerful definition pulled straight from the source's subtitle: achieving mastery through the instant resolution of doubts. You see, the end goal has fundamentally shifted here. We're not talking about mere memorization anymore. Cramming a bunch of facts into your short-term memory just to forget them the second the test is over. Nope. The goal is mastery. True, deep, unshakable comprehension of the subject matter. And the absolute key mechanism to unlock that? Removing the waiting period. It is all about resolving your doubts instantly.
The text brilliantly illustrates the stark contrast between these two learning paradigms. Think about traditional studying. You hit that wall of confusion, and what do? Well, you wait. You email a teacher and wait. You wait for office hours on Thursday. Maybe you even wait for a tutoring session next week. The whole system is just built on high friction. But with AI academics, you use tools like ChatGPT to clear those doubts instantly. It is entirely frictionless. The exact moment the confusion pops up, a personalized solution is right there waiting for you, which means your momentum stays completely intact.
So, let's break down this first major pillar from the text. Utilizing ChatGPT as a student tool means you're actively focusing on clearing specific doubts and achieving that resolution instantly. I really want to emphasize what instant actually means for you as a student. Time and delay are basically the absolute worst enemies of learning momentum. When you're studying effectively, your brain is in this highly valuable flow state. If you have to hit pause for 2 days just to get a single answer, the whole context of what you were doing is completely lost. By resolving your doubts in real time, instantly, you protect that flow state. The learning literally never has to pause.
Now, what's really interesting about the source text here is a direct verbatim quote that's actually kind of fascinating. It mentions, quote, using tools like ChatGPT to generate mock tests. Yep, mock tests. It's clearly a little typo in the original text. They obviously meant mock tests. But, rather than just brushing past it, we're actually going to use this typo to our advantage because it sets up an absolutely perfect metaphor for the second major pillar of our text.
Think about it metaphorically for a second. When you're struggling with a really tough subject, what does that confusion actually feel like? It feels like muck. Your brain gets all bogged down in this thick muck of tangled ideas, complex formulas, and unclear definitions. It feels messy. It's hard to wade through. So while the text meant to say mock tests, generating these practice exams with AI literally clears out the muck of your confusion. Generating custom mock tests forces you to actively apply what you know, which burns away that fog and exposes exactly where the real gaps in your knowledge are hiding.
Let's move along and see how this builds into a super practical workflow based directly on the source's claims. If you want to clear that muck, here's the exact process. Step 1. Input your specific study material into the AI. Just feed it that dense text or those tricky formulas you're wrestling with. Step 2. Ask the tool to generate a custom mock test based solely on that material. And Step 3. Test your knowledge. By taking these custom assessments, you instantly spot your weak points. And the best part? When you hit a weak point and get a question wrong, you just loop right back to that first pillar, instantly resolving the new doubt. It turns into this beautiful, continuous cycle of rapid-fire improvement.
So the crucial point is how these two distinct AI strategies work in tandem. You've got Pillar 1, instant doubt resolution, and Pillar 2, generating mock tests. Honestly, on their own, they're pretty neat tricks, but together, When you actively test yourself to expose those knowledge gaps and then instantly fill them without ever breaking your study momentum, well, both pillars point directly to one final outcome: mastery. They're basically two halves of a complete engine designed strictly for academic excellence.
Which brings us to a really profound thought to close out today's explainer. If tools like ChatGPT can resolve any doubt instantly, how does that change your very definition of learning? Seriously, if the main barrier to your understanding is no longer access to a teacher or waiting around for a tutor, but simply the quality of the questions you ask the AI sitting right in front of you, how will you adapt? I challenge you to rethink your own study habits today. The friction is completely gone, the tools are right here. I really hope this leaves you curious to go explore these AI tools for yourself and step into your very own era of AI academics. Thanks so much for joining me, and keep focused on that mastery.